So hello everybody. I just got back from watching World War Z, and I'm going to give you my review of it while playing Team Fortress, and very appropriate background for this particular video. I wonder if it was planned. First off, I got a little bit of Mountain Dew here. Delicious. And a bag of Doritos, which I will eat. In particular, spicy sweet chili Doritos, because they are my favorite Doritos. That's a combination of gods. Right. So, go play Capture the Flag here. So, World War Z. I'm going to start this off by saying I thought that it was okay. It wasn't the best movie I've ever seen in my life, but it also wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. It's not Donnie Darko, but it's also not Batman and Robin. Okay, that being said, I'm going to get into my flaws with the movie first. The CG... Actually, I'm gonna clean the slate and say what I liked about the movie first. The CG was good. I thought that it was well done. It was well integrated with the practical effects in the movie, and the practical effects were good as well. The makeup for the zombies were pretty well done. You believe that these people were infected and not just decayed corpses. You believe that it was the disease. Brad Pitt, as always, is an amazing actor. You believed that this guy is in the UN, and he worked for them just because Brad Pitt said it. Excuse me. The rest of the actors are pretty good. They're okay. Some of it is kind of bad. Wow, why is it taking so long to connect to this server? Okay. Right. Blue or red? I'm gonna go blue. No scouts on this team? What is this? I love playing Scout. Right. Now you all can tell me how bad at video games I am. Anyway. The plot was okay, and I thought that the way they defeated the zombies was very creative. How they defeat the zombies, by the way, this is a spoiler review. Frickin' laggy games. I am going to do spoilers. If you don't want spoilers for the movie, just turn the video off right now. The way they defeat the zombies is, earlier in the movie, you see these giant hordes going through Jerusalem, and there's this old guy and this little kid, and the zombies both kind of ignore them. Ignore both of them. And Brad Pitt assumes that this is because they were infected with some kind of disease, and the lady at the WHO in Cardiff... By the way, they're in Cardiff, and, only one person speaks with a British accent. What is this? Anyway. So, the lady there says, well, the infection is a parasitic infection, so it would make sense that they would try to infect healthy hosts and not terminal hosts. Curses. Freaking rocket launchers every time. Okay. So, they're in the WHO, and they have all these terminal diseases hidden away in a vault. So Brad Pitt decides that he's going to infect himself with one of the diseases and see if he can avoid the zombies. And he does. He infects himself with, like, super herpes or uber AIDS or something. And he just walks past one of the zombies, which is a really cool, intense scene. This movie has tense scenes that work really well. It just doesn't have enough of them, I think. I think this could have been a really good thriller, and it works as a big epic action movie, but I think it would have worked better as just kind of a low-level thriller of this one guy. And that's another problem I have with the movie. It just focuses on this one guy, whereas the book focuses on the entire world of it through the perspectives of different people. And I think Brad Pitt meets these different people as he goes through the movie. But it would have been really cool, and this is just me, if this wasn't an action movie, if this wasn't even like a narrative movie at all. What if, just for the sake of argument, they decided not to make a big summer blockbuster and decided to make a direct-to-video adaptation that was a bit of a mockumentary in the style of the History Channel. A fake documentary on the zombie war like the book was a fake retrospective on the zombie war. That would have been really cool. And you could have gotten kind of B-list actors. You don't want somebody like Tom Cruise doing something for, like, doing an interview for a fake documentary, but you could get somebody like Steve Buscemi or Michael Cera. Not to insult Michael Cera to say that he's not like an A-list actor, but I think you could get lesser known guys to go do this. Oh, frickin' camping turrets. You could get lesser known people to do this, and it would have worked really well. Well, I mean, unless you cast somebody like Christopher Walken, and then it kind of would just fall apart. But it's focused on this one guy, but it also tries to put it at a large, world-shattering spectrum at the same time, and it just doesn't work. I feel like, in that perspective, the movie doesn't really know what it wants to be. It doesn't know if it wants to be this giant, earth-shattering epic, or if it wants to be a character study and just kind of a sort of intense thriller. And it could have worked as both, but they decide to merge them, and it just doesn't do a good job at it. Okay, I'm gonna try and get this. Of course it decides to lag as soon as I try to shoot the turret. No other time it could have done that. Anyway. And since it's this earth-shattering story focused on this one guy, it does suffer from main character syndrome. This is something that Confused Matthew brings up a lot in his reviews, particularly of his review of Minority Report, where Brad Pitt has main character powers. He survives a plane crash, and countless zombie attacks, almost completely unscathed. Like, he has a few scratches on his face, and that's about it. Curses. Yeah. He does get stabbed, but it's never really brought up. You never see him, like, limping or anything, and he has frickin' scrap metal shoved completely through his stomach, and it's never brought up again. That was kind of weird. And besides all of that, This is a very plot-driven movie, and I don't like plot-driven things. I like character-driven things. And this could have been a character-driven movie. You could have really built up why... because every story answers, no matter what it is, no matter what genre, every story needs to answer one essential question. Why do we care? Why do we care what happens to this guy? Why is it important? Is it important? And this needs to be answered very quickly. And I only cared about Brad Pitt's character about 45 minutes into the movie. And you just can't do something like that and expect it to go over well. You need to care about this guy and his quest to find the cure for zombieism. You need to care, or else it doesn't work. I don't know. And as I said, I only cared about Brad Pitt's character about 45 minutes into the movie. I didn't care about any of the other characters at all. He has kids, and they deal with the kids with the idea that children are instantly sympathetic in a story, and they're not. You need to treat children like you would treat any other type of character. We need to care about them. You need to give us reasons to care about these kids. And I just don't. They were just obnoxious. There's this giant zombie attack in Philadelphia, and this guy's daughter is screaming for her blanket. Just shut up about your fucking blanket. It's not important at all. At this moment, there are bigger things to worry about. And your blanket does not matter here. Curses. Yes, my username is a walrus with no limbs. And they bring up... There are a lot of things that are brought up, and they are just never mentioned again. Or they're only mentioned once. And I was just sitting in the theater being like, okay, what's the point of that? I was asking myself that a lot during this movie. What is the point? Why do I care? Why should I care? I don't. I just don't care about this. For example, very early in the movie, before the zombie stuff starts, we see that one of Brad Pitt's daughters has asthma. Like, the mom asks, hey, did you bring your inhaler? Very heavily implying that this person has asthma. And she starts having an asthma attack, just after everything with the zombies starts, and it's never brought up again. It's not important to anything that happens. It's just there for shock value, and to try to make us care about this kid, even though she's not an interesting character. And that's a problem with most of the movie. We don't care about these people. We don't have any reason to care about these people. And the movie will just kill characters off without even establishing what makes them characters. What makes them people. There's a doctor who gets killed very early on in the movie, almost 5 minutes after he's even introduced. And he gets killed in the most anticlimactic way imaginable, and we just don't care. Why should we care? He doesn't matter. He doesn't matter at all. So, when he dies, we don't care, and no one in the movie cares. It's just like, well, I guess that guy's dead. You need to build up your characters so when you kill them off, it works. It's a payoff to something. I know that Walking Dead comparisons are inevitable in this, and I've tried to stay away from them, but I'm going to start comparing this to Walking Dead. In the third season, we find Merle again, and he's a complete asshole. But then he his character slowly develops, and we start to like him. And he realizes that he's done all these horrible things. And then he redeems himself at the end of the season, and you feel like it was worth watching. Even though you're sad that this character is dead, you feel like it meant something. The deaths didn't mean anything in this movie, they were just there for shock value. And shock value, I don't care about shock value. And you had a lot of jump scares in this movie, which again were just shock value for the sake of shock value, and it didn't matter. The action scenes with the hordes of zombies were much more horrifying than the jump scares, which were meant to be scary. And because jump scares are not scary, they're just startling. It won't unsettle you. Like, you see a ton of people getting wrecked by zombies, just dropping like flies, that's kind of unsettling. That's kind of scary. And you should have had you should have had that outweigh the jump scares in the movie. Oh, yes, I'm bad. I'm gonna switch to sniper. Oh, I should probably edit my loadout. Right. Dude. God damn it. Okay. Fine, I guess I'll be scout. Where was I? I sort of lost my train of thought. Anyway, the point is, I hate sauerkraut! No, but those were the bad points of the movie, and that's just what I was going in. That's just, most of those things are personal preference things, and me judging the movie for what it's not, and not what it is. And what it is, it's a popcorn movie. That's what it is, that's all it's meant to be. It's a popcorn movie. No more, no less. And as a popcorn movie, it works. It works pretty well as a popcorn movie. It was intense. There were rushes. I wasn't personally, but I bet people could be on the edge of their seat while watching this movie. It's a very exciting movie, and it's supposed to be an exciting movie, and I'll give it credit for that. But I feel like it could have been so much more deep than it is, and it's just kind of disappointing that it wasn't. I'm not saying that every movie has to be deep. I can just sit down and watch explosions for the sake of explosions. But there's a little bit of character development and a little bit of plot to the point where I can't say that it's just mindless, and it's disappointing that there wasn't more of it. There's a scene where Brad Pitt is helping this woman. She had her hand cut off because she was bitten, and he's kind of playing medic to this woman and kind of cauterizing I'm not sure if that's the correct term. He's healing the stump that the hand was cut off at. And you feel like he's doing this not because he feels like he owes her, but just because he wants to help this person, because he is a good man. And you should have had more scenes like that before the movie, before the plot got rolling. You should have had more scenes where we see this guy interact with people, just being a good person. And I would have cared about him much more. That being said, there are a lot of scenes where people are just being good people for the sake of being good people, which you don't see a lot in zombie movies. People are very selfish in something like The Walking Dead. This is my land, this is my property, and you are not allowed. Zombies are eating everybody. Fuck you, get off my land. Is a lot of the attitude that the characters in The Walking Dead seem to exhibit. And that's not what happens here. There's a Hispanic family that takes in Brad Pitt's family just because they're helpless. Just because they're good people. And the ending is very optimistic. They do win, which wasn't very surprising to me. I know that it's kind of a twist on its head of most zombie movies, where the main cast doesn't win most of the time in zombie movies. We don't win the zombie war a lot, and in this, we win. And there's an optimistic kind of ending with with kind of a cheesy narration, but it is kind of refreshing to see that optimism in it. But that's also kind of a flaw, because at the beginning, the movie just feels very rushed. The pacing is very fast, and I get that adds to the urgency and the intensity of it, but it should have slowed down a little bit, taken its time to develop its characters. Like, it was very short. Not that it was literally very short, but it felt very short. Just like, oh, I just sat down and the movie's over. And that's a flaw with kind of the plot in general, because the zombie apocalypse starts and ends in about a week or two. What? Like, he solves this entire apocalypse in a week. Just like, wow, that was the shortest apocalypse I've ever witnessed. But then again, it's supposed to be an edge-of-your-seat, fast-paced, intense action movie, and that's exactly what it delivers. I was just expecting more going in. Possibly unfairly expecting more than what it is going in. And for what it is, and for what it is meant to be, I feel like it does a very good job. I'd go see this movie. Well, if you're watching this, go see the movie. If you want to just get some friends together or have a good time, go see the movie. If you're looking for something deep, something philosophical, something that'll make you think for hours about it, this isn't the movie you need to watch. I'm not sure of any movies that are out currently that will do that. This and Star Trek Into Darkness, which I plan on rewatching and then reviewing when it comes out on video, are the only movies I've really seen this year. So I'm not sure what's out currently, but if you're looking for something deep, go watch Fight Club, go watch Donnie Darko. This isn't the movie for you, but if you want to just have a good time, go see this movie. Alright, I think I'm gonna disconnect from the server. Alright, so that's what I think of it. If you saw the movie, tell me what you thought of it. And that's basically it. Until next time, this is Alaska, signing off.